Episode is brought to you by Spotify Green Room. Download the app and join me this week to get in on the action.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings. This is Stacey. I'm the host of Locked On Yankees. Welcome to the show. It is Wednesday, August 25th, and the Yankees are riding high on an 11-game winning streak. They won again on Tuesday night against the Atlanta Braves. I almost said the Angels. No, the Angels are busy beating up on the Orioles, who have lost 19 in a row. So, yeah, Yankees are doing well and heading into Oakland on a high note. Oakland is heading, I think, back to Oakland, or were they at home against Seattle? They didn't do well against Seattle. This is one of those things that Yankee fans should be slightly worried about. But before we get into all that, I'd like to remind you that you can get Locked On Yankees and all other Locked On podcasts straight to your phone in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, Spotify, Stitcher, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. And when you get into your car, you can tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Yankees. You can also subscribe on YouTube. And you can look at me and see me and, listen to me at the same time. It's your eyes. Anyway, so the Yankees are riding high. Unbelievable. I don't mean to do it again, but I'm going to do it again. I told you. I told all of you. No one believed me. I kept saying, this team is better than they're playing. Are they as good as they're playing now? Maybe. It's possible. I mean, there are a bunch of streaks going here. They haven't done a bunch of this in a while. This is the first 11-game winning streak since 1985. I turned 11 in 1985. I'm turning 47 tomorrow. That's a long time ago. And there are other streaks going on. Besides the 11-game streak, it's a matter of how many wins they have in a certain amount of games. So I'm going to give you the list right now. I bookmarked the tweet. Okay. 11 in a row, first time since 1985. 12 of 13, first time since 2019. 18 of 21, first time since 2018. 21 of 25, also the first time since 2018. 23 of 28 for the first time since 1998. 33 of 34, also the first time since 2019. So maybe they are as good as they're playing the last month. It's been a month since they really started turning things around and they've made up ground. Now, the Rays keep winning, which is a pain in the butt. So the Yankees are still behind them in the standings by a good enough margin. But the Yankees' schedule coming up after the A's is pretty... Well, they play the Angels also in Anaheim, but there are a lot of Yankee fans in Anaheim. And not that it's Yankee Stadium SoCal, like we would call Camden Yards Yankee Stadium South, but you get a good group of Yankee fans there, and it almost feels like a home game when they play the Angels. So, we'll see. They have 3 against the Angels after the 4 against Oakland. They have a day off. Then they play 2 against Baltimore, 4 against Toronto at home. So the Baltimore games, I mean, at that point, the Yankees, the Orioles could be riding like a 27-game losing streak. It's really, really bad for them. And then the Yankees have the 3-game series against the Mets at Citi Field. Then they have the makeup game against Minnesota on the 13th, 3 more against Baltimore, 3 against Cleveland, 3 against Texas. So those 9 games, the Baltimore, Cleveland, Texas games, the Yankees need to win at least 7 out of those nine games. I'm saying it right now. Especially down the stretch. That's the 14th through the 22nd of September. They need to win at least 7 of those games. No excuses for losing to those teams. They have an off day on the 23rd, 3 against Boston, an off day on the 27th, 3 against Toronto. Those are all on the road. And then they close out 3 against the Rays. Now, it could be possible, knocking on wood, that the Yankees and Rays in the last series of the year, October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, could be playing for the division. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Wouldn't that be amazing after all this, that the Yankees actually come back and win the division? That'd be great for my anxiety because MLB came out with the playoff schedule, and I'll just go through the wild card games are October 5th and October 6th, AL first, NL second. So things are approaching fast. So let's get into the recap of both games. I apologize for there not being a show yesterday. I was not feeling well, and no one needed to see that. So I figured I'd spare you all that. So let's talk about Monday's game, the 5-1 game, the game that was not so scary. Yeah, Jordan Montgomery didn't pitch great. I'll give him that. And he even said he didn't pitch that well, but he pitched well enough to win. The Yankees gave him a chance to win, so that's good. 5 innings, 1 run on 2 hits, 4 walks. That's what wasn't good about it. 2 strikeouts, gave up a home run to Swanson. Swanson's a pain in the butt. He was a pain in the butt in Tuesday's game as well, but he was a pain in the butt. And after Montgomery, you had Loaizaga, Peralta, and Chapman. Chapman came in the last inning. Now, granted, he had a 4-run lead, but he came in and it was a clean inning. No issues. He looked okay. His ball was above 100 miles an hour, his fastball. So he looked, we didn't have to worry about anything. And it was nice to not have to worry about anything. On the hitting side, all the runs were scored by the G's. Big G, Giancarlo Stanton, and Gary Sanchez. Stanton had 3 ribbies, 1 on a home run. No. Yes, 1 on a home run. Yes, solo. And 2 on a double. And Gary Sanchez hit an RBI single to make it 5-1. So that was a good game for them. They did that against Yanoa, who is a pretty good pitcher. He, had some good innings there against the Yankees. He ended up pitching 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 4 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. So he is a good pitcher. He just, made some mistakes, one being that home run by Stanton, but it was opposite field. He hit it to the restaurant in right field in Truist Park, and that's not that easy to do. And it didn't even look that good of a swing, and he's so powerful. And, he's hitting 320 in this tremendous streak that the Yankees have had. And, the Yankees need Giancarlo Stanton to do well, and he seems to be doing better playing the field. And I know I joked at the beginning of the season that if we saw Stanton in the field, that something was seriously wrong, but it turns out something's seriously right now. So yeah, it's good seeing him in the field, which is a very strange thing to say. So this episode is brought to you by Green Room. Green Room is the first social audio platform made by sports fans, or made for sports fans. Although I think sports fans did make it. The app is free to download, and once you're in, you can talk with me, other fans and athletes, and insiders in real time about your favorite team or sport. I'll be hosting rooms for Locked On Yankees. I'm going to try and start doing them once a week now that we're in the playoff hunt. I just have to figure out a time to do them. Green Room is the perfect place to start or join conversations about the league. You'll find fans just like you on Green Room for watch parties, debates, post-game breakdowns, and of course, reacting to big news or rumors. You'll have a chance to chat with me and might even have a chance to be featured on this show. Download the Green Room app now, currently available on all iOS devices. So that means phones, and that means iPads. Be sure to create a profile, link your Twitter, and join the MLB group for the latest league updates. Follow me at Stacey. I made it easy for you, so you'll be notified when my room goes live. I can't wait to hear everyone's thoughts now about the Yankees. I might be doing one during the Oakland series. We'll see. Definitely not tomorrow night. I'll be celebrating my birthday, but I'll see you there. Green Room, changing the way we talk sports. So what else is happening? Day off today for the Yankees. They were flying out to Oakland, as I said, starting that big 4-game set. And, Oakland didn't do too well against Seattle, and the Yankees are on a roll. And I'm almost more worried about them running into Oakland right now than I was about them running into the Braves on the same kind of winning streak, if that makes sense. I don't know. There's something about baseball when a team is on a bit of a losing streak and heading into a series against a team on a big winning streak. I don't know. I'm just slightly worried. And it's Oakland with their giant foul territory, and that stadium is just, no offense to my Oakland friends. And speaking of Oakland, Jason Burke and I will be recording a crossover episode later that'll be airing tomorrow. So we'll be talking all about the A's and the Yanks facing off against each other. Now let's look at Tuesday's game, otherwise known as last night, otherwise known as Heart Attack City, thanks to Aroldis Chapman. But before we get to Chapman, things didn't start off too great at first because Andrew Heaney gave up. Well, all right. You know what? I'm not gonna bash Heaney because he didn't give up a home run. Okay, that's a miracle. Last week it was a miracle that he lasted 7 innings against. Why can't I say that word? Seven. Oh my God! Hello, 7 innings against the Red Sox and only held them to 1 home run and 1 run. So it's a miracle that he didn't give up any home runs, okay? He had 5 strikeouts, 2 runs on 3 hits. Those 2 runs happened right away in the first inning. Then the Yankees started clawing away a little bit, and they tied the game in the 4th, pulled ahead in the 5th. The Braves scored in the 5th. Yankees scored in the 7th, and the Braves scored that one in the 9th. Oh, I said it. Monday, Chapman looked good. He was throwing the ball hard. Didn't look nervous or stressed. And last night, I don't know what was going on with him. And everyone was joking about how much he was sweating. But seriously, he gives Patrick Ewing a run for his money. If you watched Knick games in the 80s and 90s, you remember how much Patrick Ewing used to sweat. And Aroldis Chapman last night just looked so bad. Couldn't throw his fastball to save his life. And I don't know how the Braves didn't score more. I really don't. I don't understand how they didn't. Well, you know what? This is the thing. If this game happened, let's say early July, or at least right before the All-Star break, the Yankees would have lost that game. He would have given up a grand slam. They would have lost that game in horrible fashion after leading for however many innings it was and going into the 9th with a lead and then him screwing up. And as I said on, I believe it was Monday's show, this isn't happening to them anymore. They're winning the games that they would have lost earlier in the season. Even a month ago, in those games against Boston, they started turning things around. But even in those games against Boston, this would have been a disaster. And then Chapman had to be taken out because he could not get people out. And he gave up 1 run on 2 hits with 2 walks and a strikeout. Oh, so he did get someone out. I forgot. Or he got 2 out because he pitched 2/3 of an inning. But it just was very uncomfortable. And Yankee fans were thinking to themselves, oh no, here we go again. Then Boone finally wakes up, brings in Peralta. Peralta's been lights out. He's pitched 11 and sorry, phone's ringing in the background. 11 and 2/3 innings, and he hasn't given up a run. Really? No one ever calls the house phone, and it's happening now. Of course. Why would that not be happening? Anyway, Peralta comes in against Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman is notoriously good against Wandy Peralta. And Wandy Peralta got to 3 balls and a strike. And you're thinking, there's nowhere to go. Bases are loaded. Then Freeman starts fouling off balls. I think he fouled off 2 or 3. A few of them were slightly scary because they were down the line. And you're thinking, oh no, he's going to, hit a 2-run double. They're going to win. And then Peralta gets him out on a fly ball to Joey Gallo. That ball was in the air. I knew it really wasn't going anywhere, but I was slightly worried about Gallo not getting to it and Gardner not getting to it because they both looked like they were going to collide. And, anyone watching that game as a Yankee fan was already stressed out. So the second the ball went up in the air, my heart stopped. I don't know about you, but yeah. And it took me maybe an hour to start breathing right after that game ended. But the Yankees win. And let's see how many pitches did Peralta throw? He threw 9 pitches in that at bat. 6 of them were strikes. Now, the other big story about this game was that the Yankees did pretty well against Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton, came into the game 12-4. And he only pitched 5 innings, gave up 4 runs, but he did strike out 9 because he does like to strike out a lot of batters. And he gave up a home run to Stanton in the second, and LeMahieu hit another home run. He hit a home run on his bobblehead night last Friday, and he hit another home run last night, his 9th of the season. And then Odor came in the 7th inning or hit a home run in the 7th inning. He hit I think it bounced off the restaurant in right field. Stanton's this time went to left field. It was a pull hit, not an oppo taco. So, I mean, this is what we wanted from the Yankees all year. We wanted to see them do this well. And it's nice. And it's nice to see them win games that we thought they were going to lose. But I would prefer Loizaga be the closer until Chapman figures out his stuff, because he still hasn't figured out his stuff. He could not throw his fastball to save his life last night. And you can't not have a fastball of some sort and be a closer. Really? Right? I mean, sure. Well, you can be a closer with one pitch, but only if you're Mo Rivera. And as we know, Aroldis Chapman is not Mo Rivera. And that's not really knocking Chapman. No one's Mo Rivera. I mean, really, when you think about it. I mean, the man was otherworldly. So it's that time of year again, and all eyes are turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start football season. Although, some of those fields are pretty green. As always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this year. Get all the updated odds, props, and contests, including online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest and the world's largest $200,000 NFL Survivor contest. Open now at BetOnline. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 100% welcome bonus. Be sure to take advantage of their opening day super promo. That means you have to make a bet on the Thursday, September 9th season opener between the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. And if you lose, your wager will be refunded up to $25. This is for new customers only when signing up and using promo code NFL100. BetOnline is the fastest and easy way to bet all your favorite sports, from football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait and take advantage of all the great offers available for the 2021 season. Use our promo code LOCKEDON when you sign up. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. So let's discuss how well the Yankees are doing, because this is it's fun to watch, except for last night. Last night wasn't, but the previous few games, the 10-2 game against the Twins, the 7-1 game against the Twins, the 5-1 game against the Braves. It's just fun to watch this team again. And as I said, this is the team I expected to see all season. It really is. It didn't feel right for them to play as badly as they did when the season first started. It just felt off. So many people were writing this team off at the beginning of the year. Not even at the beginning of the year. In June, they were writing them off. And I kept saying, just wait. Just wait until the All-Star break. Things will kick in. I didn't realize that they were going to make trades at the deadline that contributed a bit. Now, Rizzo and Gallo haven't been blowing the cover off the ball, but even just having them in the lineup, having those two left-handed batters in the midst of Judge and Voit and Stanton and Sanchez, it helps the lineup. It lengthens the lineup. That's the word. Tyler Wade's been playing well. Andrew Velasquez stepping in, playing well. Speaking of that, Gio Urshela should be back with the Yankees for Oakland. He played in Somerset last night, had 3 hits, I believe they said. And he said after the game that he expected to be activated for this series in Oakland. So he's on his way back. Miguel Andujar was transferred to the 60-day DL. Zach Britton may have to have surgery on his elbow. It figures. He pitches in one of his best relief appearances, and now he has to have surgery on his elbow. And he even said that he regretted having the original surgery that he had that kept him out of the beginning of the season. He thinks that something happened there and that his body didn't react well to it. And now he regrets it. And that's, you don't really know how your body's going to react to surgery. Surgery is scary no matter what it is. I had eye surgery. I had eye surgery 20 years ago. And well, all right, let's get into it. I had eye surgery when I was 9 months old, 9 years old, 26 years old. And it was to fix my lazy eye. And now my lazy eye is lazy again. But, it stayed straight for 15 years. So, it worked pretty well. But obviously, I don't remember my 9-month-old surgery. And I wasn't really aware of what was happening when I was 9. I remember it, but it's a big difference when you get surgery as an adult and you know how your body reacts to things. And you get worried because you don't know what's going to happen. There are risks with every surgery. Especially if you make your money with your arm as a pitcher, of course, you're going to be worried about having surgery. So that's a big bummer losing Zach Britton. Clay Holmes is back, right? Is he back or is he working his way back? Now I can't even remember because he was coming back from the COVID list. And as far as I know, no one has COVID. But now that I've said that, we'll see a report at some time soon. So-and-so has COVID because that always happens. The Zach Britton news happened yesterday. So I missed that because I didn't record a show. Again, my apologies. I was not feeling well, feeling much better. Thank goodness. So we'll be back to the regular schedule. As I said, I am recording later with Jason of Locked On A's. We will be doing a preview of the 4-game set in Anaheim that I'm really worried about. And let's just briefly look because I'm not sure if everything is set yet with, wait a minute. We might have pitching. Oh, wow. Okay. This is rare. And I said this another time. Yeah, all the pitching matchups are set up. We'll talk about that on the next episode. So what else can we talk about? Let me think. What else is happening in Yankee land besides them kicking ass and taking numbers? Let's look at the standings just to make sure that everything's copacetic. As I said, the A's are struggling a bit. I think they're 5 behind the Yankees in the loss column right now. Let's look at the wild card. Where are they? Yes. Yep. Yankees have 52 losses. Oakland has 57, but they're only 2.5 games up on Boston. Okay. Seattle is right behind Oakland. That series helped them. They're only 2 games. They're only 1 game in back of Oakland. So Toronto's struggling a bit. They're 5.5 back. The Angels are 9 back. Cleveland's 9 back. Oh, I didn't realize Cleveland was just under 500. I thought they were playing worse than that. And poor Baltimore. Can we talk about Baltimore? My God. So they've lost 19 in a row. They're 38-86. 32.5 games back of the wild card. Hold on. Let's look at the division. 39 games back in the division. Yeah, that's and for all the making fun of the Diamondbacks that people did, they're 42-85. They've improved, although because San Francisco is doing so well, they're 40 games back. So they have the largest deficit to overcome. Not that they would. And I believe our host of Locked On Pirates said that the Pirates have to go 36-0, I guess, for the remainder of the season to hit 500. So, yeah, that's not happening. They're 31 games back in the ML Central. And Atlanta, they may have lost the 2 to the Yankees, but they lucked out because Philly lost last night and the Mets lost last night, so they didn't really lose any ground there. So they're still 4.5 up on the Phillies, 6.5 up on the Mets. And as I said, the Yankees are still 4 behind the Rays, but, they have some games in September that they should win. And if they're playing in September like they played in August, they will win. And it is possible, coming down to that last 3-game series against the Rays, it could mean the division. That would be something after the way the Yankees started. But I said it before the season. I envisioned this as a 2007. I envisioned it where the Yankees would be iffy heading into the All-Star break. And then they'd turn things around after the break, or more after the trade deadline. But after the break, they'd start to pick things up and then really go on a roll. And that's what's happening. Now, I don't want a repeat of 2007 where they get the wild card and then lose in the division series in 5 games. No, I don't want that. So again, Yankees, 11-game winning streak. Next up, the A's for 4 games in Oakland. I will have a preview of that series on tomorrow's show with Jason Burke of Locked On A's. But for now, that's it for this episode of Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'd like to remind you that you can subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, Spotify, Stitcher, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. And when you get into your car, you can tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Bets. Betting on the Yankees doesn't have to be a guessing game if you listen to the new Locked On Bets podcast, hosted by your boy Q and handicapping expert Lee Sterling. Get daily picks, blowout specials, wrong team favorite picks, and Lee Sterling's lock of the day. Follow the Locked On Bets podcast, brought to you by BetOnline.ag, wherever you get podcasts. One more thing, if you could be so kind, please rate the podcast and spread the word about this podcast to your fellow Yankee fans. We would really appreciate it. So enjoy your Wednesday, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.